Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. One of the things that you're gifted when you have these psychic abilities is to see, sometimes for some of us, to see into the future. And these are normally not for yourself. These are for uh, humanity. That's why you're giving these gifts. You're giving these gifts to share. They're not to like self-aggrandizement or building your own income or so forth. Although that does come with this, it is not specifically designed for that. It is designed to help humanity. So, with that in mind, I have helped many people over the years. Some beginning in combat zones, and then sharing it to the larger general public of the world. So, some of those things I came out with in November of last year. Some of those things were coming tsunamis, massive earthquakes, volcanic activity, and so forth this year. Now, science is starting to validate my visuals, all right, the visuals that I saw happening in the future. Now, sometimes those visuals will be, you'll see a little bit further than you thought. Like the year before last, I was seeing in April timeframe, I was seeing the big earthquakes coming. But it seems like it's this year. And now I'm starting to see other people with these psychic gifts are starting to, see these events coming as well. And then we're seeing the sun activity, like I've been talking about for several years, has started to telegraph that these events are coming. So we're going to look into all of this. I'm going to kick it off with, like I said, my predictions that I came out with back in November, probably about mid-November of last year. You guys might remember 3 weeks before Trump won the election, I said, because I was like, people were asking, I was like, I don't know yet. I don't see it. When Trump came down the escalator in his first run, I was like, he's going to make it. I, like many people, thought that he won the last election. So when you see that, you're like, okay, he's going to win the next election. Well, he did win the next election, but doesn't mean he was going to be president. In some ways, he was. We know that, but not openly. Not openly. So that's some of the things that we're seeing now, that we can make these predictions, but the way that we understand it analytically and rationalize it sometimes doesn't work perfectly from the other side, giving us this information. So yes, Donald Trump won the last election, not last election, but 2020. And like Juan and I like to sing when we get together, 2020, it's not over yet. So it is coming, the reveal of that steel. The reveal of that steel. It's kind of flows nicely, doesn't it? All right, so a lot of things are going to be revealed this year. I've talked about that. I talked about big problems in the cities, all right? And I think we know what that is, and I think we know that's coming. So those big problems in the cities will be Democrat cities, and I've said for years to get out of the big Democrat cities. And we'll see that come to fruition, I believe, this year, and probably within the next month or two, all right? I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, but these things are going to play out the way they play out. Sometimes they get delayed because we bring attention to them, and sometimes they don't even happen because we bring attention to them. And that's the best thing about these psychic abilities. We can tell everybody, hey, this is coming. People prepare for it, or they know the truth that's coming, and they don't let the lie come through. That's the power, I believe, of many of us that are awakening to our intuitive abilities. Of course, I think that many people that could be using their psychic and intuitive abilities, and the psychic and intuitive abilities are God's gifts to us. It's not. So a lot of people are like, well, I know the dark side, manipulates and controls weather. Why do you do it? It's like, well, if I'm in a combat zone and the other side has weapons, Am I not going to have a weapon because the bad guys have weapons? That's dumb, right? So this is one of the things that we have available to us that is, like I said, God's gift. God gives this to all. Whether people use it for a negative or for a positive is their free will. Now, at some point, the free will of the majority will raise the vibrational consciousness and the frequency of Earth so that these negative frequency can no longer exist. And that is one of the beautiful things about incarnating here on Earth during this time frame, where a lot of very high frequency beings have come in from many different galactic federation, many different worlds and so forth for this certain time frame, because Earth right now is it's high speed. All right, if you need to advance yourself consciousness wise, you're going to get worked here. It's not like you come here and lay out on the beach, and although some people do, I like to lay out on the beach, but it's not like your soul comes here and you're just lay out on the beach and just kick back, right? Every time there's pressure, and that pressure, that electrical energy and so forth, it creates change. A change in you, change in the environment, change in those around you. So a lot of us have seen these changes. Some people just come in, unfortunately, for a short period of time and share their wonderfulness, and then they leave, but they'll be back. In fact, I think we're building a better world for a lot of those amazing souls that have already departed to come back, right? All right, so let's listen to some of the people that have kind of started to join along with my visual interpretation of what's coming for us. And it's going to be very, very interesting, I think, in the next several months. Very, very interesting. I think that President Trump right now is trying to build the future where we're all in high prosperity. If everyone was in high prosperity, not everyone, but most of us, if we're high prosperity around the world, wars don't happen. Some of the dark energies type stuff doesn't happen. So that I believe is what President Trump is doing around the world. And there's, I think he was just in, he's been in Qatar. He's playing his guitar. So, and where was the other one? I'm trying to think of his name. I've been in all those countries. I lived a lot of time, a lot of time frames, I guess, throughout time. But in this life, I've been in a lot of those areas. But anyway, one of those high end, not Qatar, but one of the other ones. Can't think of the name of it right now. Not Saudi Arabia either, but it's one of the high end, very small country, but with a lot of wealth. 10 trillion. They're going to donate, but they're going to invest in the United States over 10 trillion. No, it's not Saudi Arabia. It's one of the other ones. So if I saw a map real quick, UAE could be UAE. No, I don't think it's UAE. It's one of the other ones. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Jordan. No, not Jordan. Definitely not Jordan. Islamabad, of course not. But believe it or not, there's massive minerals in Afghanistan. And that's one of the reasons I believe that that's been fought over for a long time. China has actually gone in there. It's like $1 trillion worth of copper in this mountain range, something crazy. So they're at it. Kuwait, Iraq, a lot of those, yes. A lot of those have great wealth, and a lot of those are going to be working with us in the future. No, not Qatar. Was it not Eritrea, but something like that. Anyway, thanks, the kid. Salute to you too. All right, salute. And that was a right hand salute. Sometime, if you see me do a left hand salute to something, you know that's not a good one, right? So Bahrain, nope. So good guesses, guys. But all those countries, of course, they're tired of the United States, the old United States, coming in and manipulating that area, destroying the area, and saying they're destroying it so everything can be better. No. It never gets better, does it? So the way it gets better is people work together and they create wealth for each other. And it keeps people happy. We can live. I mean, in some of these, I think it's in, what's that one? Was it Qatar? I think it's Qatar, Kuwait. I remember in Kuwait, it's like Lamborghinis and Ferraris all over the highways. Of course, they're first generation driving, so they don't drive all that well, right? It usually takes several generations before people, you watch your parents drive and your grandparents or whatever, and you drive, and so several generations. But if you're first generation, like I saw when I used to travel to South Korea, not so good. And then I saw the same thing in Kuwait. Lots of wealth in Kuwait. The citizens of Kuwait don't have to work if they don't want to. They get free everything, free education, free medical, everything, and they get a stipend from the government. Several and in some states, Alaska, I don't know if they still do, but they used to give all of their citizens money from the oil revenue. So everyone in Alaska used to get revenue. The same thing on a lot of Indian reservations where they have casinos. They give money to all of if you have a certain percentage of that reservation, let's say you're Cherokee or something, I don't know, and they have a casino, and everybody, it's a lot of money coming in from the casino. They share that with the people. We don't see that in the U.S., do we? They just take and take more, right? So that's some of the things that are going to get turned around soon. So if more money comes in, and money is no object, that's right. If money is no object, so the love of money, right? So a lot of people get this confused. They talk about if you love money, then you're evil, and that's evil. No, it's usually if you do good works, then energy comes to you, and energy can be in the form of money, right? It come in many different forms, but if you do good works, then you will be rewarded by the natural flow of things, right? So as you start to dip into that natural flow with your consciousness and start to flow with that stream of consciousness, then all good things come to you. All good things that you focus on. Money is a tool. Yes, money is a tool, and it is a tool that basically allows us to do good works. Now we know the deep state basically uses money as a wedge to destroy our lives, our cultures, our everything. So we should not, because the root of all evil is money or something like bullshit. That's probably one of those things they inserted into the Bible, because they inserted a lot of stuff in the Bible. There's no question about that, especially in the New Testament. The New Testament is very, unfortunately, is very manipulated, right? So Jesus was not a Christian; he was Jewish. Right? So the Christians are, sometimes get a little haughty with their beliefs. There is a area out in that I've heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard from many people that are into the Galactic Federation stuff. But there is an area out there that is pretty much has the same mentality as the Christians. And I'm not down. I am a Christian, I would say. I don't see myself as any religion. I'm a child of God, and I listen to God. So there's a lot of religions out there have really beautiful information. All of them, American Indian, Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, all of them, Judaic, Judaism, all, and of course Christianity, where I did a lot of studies. But we know that a lot of these religions are compromised as well. So there is a group of consciousness out there that is actually dark, that has the same stuff, the same mentality, the same manipulated information as what we're seeing in the Christian Bible. So just be aware of that. Just see all things, be aware of all things, and just be an observer. If you see and feel something good from something, then observe that, relish that, be in that vibration, and let it become part of your vibration. And if at some point you find that it's no longer true, or it no longer serves you or those around you, then move on, right? It's very, very simple. But some people hold on to something that's very, very negative. So Christianity, thou shalt not kill. And Judaism, thou shalt not kill. That came from the Ten Commandments. But boy, there's a lot of killing in those two religions, the Abrahamic religions, isn't there? A lot of killing. All right, so let me share this one psychic's insights. That's kind of, I don't want to get too far off topic here, but I think there's always possibility for teaching many different truths as we move through this environment that we're in right now. And we're in an environment where information and learning from this information is going to come at hyperspeed.
I was expecting an earthquake, like the once in a lifetime magnitude earthquake. It's usually coming through, for me, the sky says Uranus on Algol. Uranus is in the sign of land. Algol is about, mass death and calamity. And there's something about the way the rest of the chart lines up with that it's in the strong possibility. And I'm worried about California the most, but I'm not thinking it's off in Japan or in Sri Lanka or Thailand. There have been some earthquakes like Thailand, but it's not that. It's not 7.7 or 7.8. Unfortunately, I'm seeing some earthquake in the next 6 months. This is in May we're recording. Some earthquake calamity, possible massive earthquake, the kind of earthquake that is once in a lifetime, that really brings people together, like the one in the 1920s in San Francisco. Now, when we talk about other events, it's fire, right? We're already seeing Mars and Leo, and there's fires in New Jersey. Jerusalem is burning because the fires are burning there. So we're going to see more of that. And how big can...
All right, so big earthquake, guys. We'll see one, like she said, once in a lifetime earthquake, but I don't think it's going to be once in a lifetime. I think we're going to start to see super massive earthquakes going forward. We're going to see a pretty good one, possibly off the coast of California or Oregon, and it caused a fairly significant tsunami. And that earthquake activity, I think, is going to hit several. I see at some point multiple massive earthquakes per day, and for a period of time. And we'll go into why that's a possibility going forward. But I think that a lot of people like this, use Life After Life, NDE. She's got a lot of subscribers. She predicted the time frame where Trump would have the that A event. Still got to be careful here on YouTube, but there is that time he was in Butler, PA, where there was President Trump, where almost had a problem, right? I think it was staged. I think they knew that it was coming. They pretty much staged it. It was not supposed to be staged; supposed to be real, and he would have been taken out if they hadn't caught it. But they did catch it, and they stopped it out. And the person that was going to do it, and the people that are involved, and basically stage an event. That's my feel on that. I've gone into a lot of detail. Have really good guests on that have talked about it. Ole Demigard and myself went deep into that. He's an expert. So whether you want to believe it's the real deal or not, it doesn't matter. He still plays it off as if it was real. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that he's alive and he's doing good works, and that he is at one with God, and God is he's a messenger. So let's let that keep playing out. Let's let that start to really make an impact on consciousness in the world, which it is. All right, so this is a really good psychic. She does really good work. I just happened to catch this. It was catching my eye. I've never seen her work before, but I am going to follow her now. I just subscribed, all right, and I like her work. So that's great. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll do a show together. But we'll continue to look, especially about his shoes. Absolutely, Sherry. So his soul of his shoes. That's one of the things that Wally brings up quite a bit. So another psychic Joni Patry, she does really good astrological stuff. I won't say that I'm like a religious follower, right? But she does good work, and she comes up with some really uh, very accurate stuff. And I think that we need to, like I said, you need to be observant of all things. So if I'm having these insights, and I see other people, other psychics having the same insights, it makes me want to share some more, right? So that you guys can be aware, so you guys can start to prepare. And who knows, maybe because we're aware and preparing, and the truth is coming to us, we can, divert catastrophes. That is a possibility. We've done this together. Lots of us working together have done a lot of these miracles already. So possibly. So just be aware that the coming, I would say, towards the end of this month, all the way into the next 2 months, are going to be some trying times.
Neptune and Saturn together, aside from being oil and gas, also deal with delusions, and it deals with cults where people's minds are being brainwashed big time. When Mars aspects that, maybe a few people will either become extremely angry with their cults and push harder and harder.
Okay, so these cults, this is the cult, the leftist cult that we see here in America and in Europe. This communist dictatorship desiring cult that wants certain things that many of us do not agree with. And more people are waking up and saying, I don't agree with that either. But there is still an element, a very significant element of this cult of death and destruction, of fear and loathing, that really subscribe to this and are not going to give it up. So we could see some significant, like I've been predicting, action in the big blue cities. And they're going to allow that. The governors and the mayors of certain cities will have planned for it. They've been planning for it for years. And it's not just for years. I think it's decades in the making for these events to start to happen. And they're going to happen soon.
Against the truth to keep their delusions, denials intact. But all at the same time, it can also mean some people waking up from the delusions. But let me tell you something. When people do wake up from a cult, it is so disturbing, and it is so confusing. Some people even commit suicide because they can't handle the fact that their world and reality has just changed and it's wrong. It is devastating for people. This will be happening.
Okay, so same thing she's talking about from, as you see up here, she's looking at May. She's looking at the May timeframe into June, and June 20th, I believe, is a major day for her as she's looking at this information. Like I said, Jennifer Tree, I've followed her for years. Really, really good stuff. So I highly recommend you follow her work, and we'll see. We'll see if some of this stuff works out. And whether, let's pray that it doesn't, but if it does, then we've been forewarned, and we're planning. Maybe June and July is not such a good time to be traveling. Right? So, but it's, you got to play it by ear. You got to play it by ear. Maybe in the area that you're at, it's okay to travel. All right. So use your own intuition. I do have intuition courses. If you don't know about intuition or remote viewing, and those in the description box, right? So let's look at my prediction. I'm just going to give you a little piece. This was in Rumble. Of course, I've just recently come back to YouTube after a hiatus of, I think, 4 years. So it is, it's frustrating, having had, as you can see here, I got 120,000 followers. Took me a while to build that up. Went at, I think at my height, I was like 250,000, 4 or 5 years ago, on YouTube. Very, very rapid acceleration to those numbers. And then, of course, I got knocked down my channels, and people would run to the next channel. And eventually, I was persona non grata on YouTube. I couldn't even show my face on YouTube, and they'd just take down videos. People would put up videos that I'd done with them, and they'd get taken down or lose their whole channel. It was really, really crazy. But things have shifted. Things have shifted, and we're now moving into this new vibration where more and more truth is going to come out. Although I believe that YouTube is still shadow banning me, X shadow bans me, Facebook shadow bans me. Still, I get the information out there to a great extent, and you guys share it. So that's fantastic. So let's listen just a little piece of. So I talked about my predictions, and I was like, normally I come in and I predict, like a lot of people in the first month or so. And I was like, well, I'm going to get ahead of everybody. I was predicting in November. As you see here, November 18th is when I was predicting. So let's listen a little bit. The reason why we didn't have a massive red all throughout the entire country, even on the left coast, is because they're saving those for the coming days, guys. The coming months. Those cities are going to riot. The mayors of those cities will allow those riots, like they did during, the just. Now you're like, well, why didn't they just go in? And because it would have started the war. It would start a mini war. So they're allowing them to go to a certain level exposure wise, and they're also trying to take out as much of their machinations as they can under the radar. So we're seeing a lot of this deportation stuff. This is to take away the generals that would be in charge of the riots that are going to happen in those cities. Of course, you take down a general, as I know, having been in special forces and the CIA, when you take down top level people, then somebody else replaces them. And then you take that person down, somebody replaces them. At some point, no one wants to step up, but we haven't reached that point yet. And we won't reach that point for some time, unfortunately, especially when we have judges, and especially when we have governors, and especially when we have mayors and the people of these cities that are resisting. The 2020 election, George Floyd planned riots. Those are they're ready to go in those big blue cities. They brought in a lot of people that are quite evil in those cities, and there'll be riots in those cities. Now the rest of the state is red, and all of the big blue cities, you look at the left coast and you're like, or the Northeast, and you're like, those are all, that's blue country. No, it's not. It's pretty much mostly, unless you're, I guess in Vermont or New Hampshire, it's mostly Republicans, right? Conservatives, not necessarily Republicans, but conservatives. And I will take that back about New Hampshire because they are pushing back very, very hard against their governor that wants transgenderism, and the people are really speaking out about that. So that's really good. And I used to say, there's a lot of, like in big blue cities, like Chicago and New York and LA and so forth. There's just so many leftists there. I don't know how they can even stay alive, right? But when I look at my back channel, and I look at all the people that are looking at the shows that I do here on YouTube. YouTube has very good algorithms where they can show you where a lot of people are coming in and watching. So if I go into the analytics side and I pull up the in my studio and so forth, and I pull up the information like for instance, the audience. I can see where most people are coming in from. And let me see. It's so crazy because I was just looking at this, and now I'm pulling it up, and it's doing the same craziness. It's like it knows that I want to show it, and it's not going to let me. Right? But anyway, I look at the cities, and of course, Chicago. Chicago is like the number one city watching these shows consistently. Wow. And then New York. And I don't know, maybe it's the surrounding environment where they like tap into New York, and they're all kind of one and the same. But that's very interesting. And then I go down the list, and then we have London that's in there, and we have a lot of Aussie cities, Adelaide, Perth, just almost all the Aussie cities are watching. It's pretty cool. And then like I said, Canada, surprisingly, Canada as well. Maybe not surprisingly, but I think Canada wants a lot of provinces in Canada want to become American, and that's possible, I think, in the future. So not all of Canada, because you look at Quebec, they're not gonna go American. They're gonna fight. New Zealand has it, yes. Get cities in New Zealand, absolutely. So there is cities all over the world that are watching. And for 5 years, I remember I used to look at this, a lot of from the Netherlands. So for whatever reason, thank you guys in the Netherlands for watching. You have been great. Not so much in France. In fact, I don't know. I haven't seen any cities in France, actually. And maybe further down, maybe down the bottom, there's some cities watching, but not so much France. So there is, and that could be the language thing too, guys. So, English speaking places, and some are surprising. I wish you could pull up. I don't know what it is. It must know when I'm going to like pull that up. It has some kind of idea through the algorithms or something that he's going to share this information when I can let him. It's only for him. But if I can figure it out and share it, it's the second time I've tried to share it. There must be something that prevents me from doing that. I will. Maybe I'll just take a picture of it and then and show you. So it is pretty interesting, some of this information. All right, let's dive in. Let's go into a lot of things that are coming. Now we know there is energies coming. So the Earth is everything around us is frequency, vibration, energy, electrical energy, and so forth. This and more electrical energy than it is gravitational. Of course, gravitational energy is one of the things they dumbed us down with, I believe, to take us off point. So really, most of our environment is electrical, and if we start to look at everything through that lens, we'll start to understand our environment much better. That's what Tesla was doing. He was looking at the electrical environment. Remember, he's the guy that came up with alternating current. So that's what we use today. Of course, he had free energy as well. They took that away. It's out there though. It's out there. They just don't let us have it on the level that we could be utilizing it. Of course, they're using it. Now let's look at all of the directed energy, microwave. So you put food in a microwave, it cooks it right. We've all done that. I don't recommend that because it's radiation and so forth. Not good for you. So I don't recommend using or even having a microwave in your environment is bad. So people have put sprouts and so forth around microwaves, and sprouts don't do so well. So, and they're not even using them. So then they took the microwave out, and so I stopped using microwaves a long time ago. Microwaves is an energy. It's a frequency. So they dial in that frequency and it cooks food. Imagine you have nice pots and you put it on the So some of us have gas. I've got gas, which is best. But if you have electrical, where you heat your stove electrically, it's energy, right? So you put a pot on there, it boils the water. You put a pot on there and put some nice Irish butter in the pot, get it cooked, get it hot to a certain, and it melts. All right, so that frequency, the heating of that is what we're starting to see from the sun sending electrical impulse energy into our earth. And well, why is it doing that? Because there's no sunspots like there used to be. So we have big coronal holes, and we're going to talk more about that in a second. I'll show you more video about that. This coronal holes basically sends energy, which causes earthquakes and causes tornadoes, like the tornadoes we saw up the Madrid fault line. All those cities that just had massive tornadoes. So electrical energy coming in along that fault line and basically spinning tornadoes. So you're like, well, what about the directed energy weapons? They're using that free energy. So it's a free energy weapon, free energy. So remember, we can, like a remote viewer and a remote influencer, I have the ability to move energy, and I won't say manipulate energy. I'm at one with it, and I'm like, you want to do good with your energy, then you will listen to me. Right? So, but then the bad guys have their idea how they want to use that energy as well, right? So they use the directed energy weapons, and they've been cooking our cities, and I'm gonna go into some of that. Now, these energy weapons that came from Tesla too, so they stole Tesla's information. And I've heard that he gave some of that information to the Nazis. I don't know why he would do that. I think it was stolen, but whatever. However they got hold of it, and they did some incredible things with it. Very bad things. Created nukes and all kind of stuff, and then they had us build nukes and nuke the Japanese. If you've seen my Sheila Holmes show, which I highly recommend, she talked about that. How we thought we had Operation Paperclip after we won the war. Operation Paperclip was happening during the war, guys. Einstein, remember that guy? He was German, right? Yeah, he came over and gave us a bomb. What did we do with the bomb? We destroyed Japan. All right, so, and where were those bombs dropped? According to Sheila Holm, and I haven't done the research yet, but she has. They dropped them right on Christian churches, where the preponderance of Christian churches were in Japan. In Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right over the top of them, blasted them, right? So we know these people are evil, psychopaths, and we have to overcome them. Do we do it by force? Do we do it with truth? Truth is one of the fastest ways to bring these guys down, because they have such power, and they've been developing this power for thousands of years, guys. Thousands of years. This is it's an extraterrestrial race. As you know, there's a lot of snake stuff, right? Reptilian, in the Garden of Eden, reptilian and the caduceus for healthcare, and there's reptilians, all right? Don't believe it. It doesn't matter to me, but it is there. You can see it for yourself if you look. So there is thousands of years worth of manipulation to eventually take over the earth, and we're close to that point. It's been stopped out before in the past. You go back to Atlantis, it was stopped out, but they're not going to win. They're just going to destroy everything. So they're kind of in that same mode. Remember how the Biden administration wanted to start nuclear wars, and they didn't happen? Mm-hmm. So there is that push for that massive destruction. Of course, it came in with the COVID lie. That didn't work out for them. So they were like, okay, let's just nuke everything. They've done that before. Will they get away with it this time? I have seen the possibility of nuke, but that's always a possibility and not an absolute. So again, these things can be averted if we get the truth out and we expose it. So that's what we're trying to do. So Colorado wildfires, Boulder 2021. I covered this while it was happening. I had people on the ground that were sharing with us. This was obviously directed energy weapon use in Colorado, and it went to a different level. The boxes, the energy boxes that are on your home, that they come in and I guess they can control or something. They were creating fires in these homes. We know that now. And I said, don't get those smart meters, guys. Do not have those on your home. If you got those on your home, then call them and tell them to get the hell off. All right. If you can. I don't know. Yeah, if you can't, I would get the hell out of that house. All right. I guarantee you that a lot of fires that are happening are from a lot of them are from smart meters on homes. All right. And then they look, there's a fire, and it just completely disintegrates that home to ash and all the metal that would not burn in a normal fire. And oh, look, all the palm trees and the trees around the house are still there. But this was from a fire. What fire? All right. So it's directed energy weapon fire. Come on. We've seen enough of these. You guys should know this stuff by now. So, I mean, look at the devastation in the Colorado fire right there. Right. And we've gone over this. The toll of these fires is absolutely devastating. As you can see, if I can get that picture, let me just click on it. Redirect notice. All right, never mind. All right, so if you can see that over there in the corner, this one, you see look at the cars, the way the cars are melted. The cars are nowhere near trees or whatever, and of course you can see the trees around the cars, like right here, that are untouched. And this is how we know when these guys are using direct energy weapons, and they're very, very selective, and things just go to dust, everything, and people go to dust. Yes, so that's a good point right there. Smart meters are like a big lighter, but via remote. Absolutely, very good. So there is a lot of people that understand this, but there's a lot of people who have no clue and don't want to know. They don't want to know. And that you have to be able to you have to be able to live with that. You have to be able to live with the people that are la 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 la, and close their eyes and put their hands over their ears. They don't want to know, because then they have to be responsible. Then they have to get involved. So it's easier for most people. Like, there's just a fraction of us that are awake and making a difference, and that's really all. It's always been that way throughout time. So don't get butthurt about it. It's okay. We'll win. We won before, and we're going to win this time again. So we'll keep each other informed. We'll work together, and we'll overcome these baddies. All right. So this is New Mexico. There was another one in New Mexico more recently. A lot of people didn't see this one or know about this one. I follow and catch these all the time. Oklahoma, Texas, up in the Panhandle, they were doing this. Smart cities. So you just go through and you see the incredible devastation, like you see in some of these pictures. If I see the cars like that and there's trees right next to them, it's like, okay, there you go, guys. That's direct energy weapon. So it's not from the heat of fires. The energy, the microwave energy, or whatever energy they're using, is directed right at these cars, and it just sweeps through and takes them all out. So that's New Mexico. We have. I'm just going to go through a list for you guys. It's some of you guys that are here, and you're like slack jaw, right? You can't be slack jaw after this. You can't be slack jaw after this. So if you have some people out there that are slack jaw on this, send them over here to look at this. All right. So Chile was another place where they want the 15-minute cities. It was near the coastline. They like the coastline. And this area in Chile, winter 2024, same devastation, just basically the houses are completely gone. There's no building material left. There's no nothing. There's no brick, no stoves, metal stoves, air conditioning. It's all gone. It's all and think about all these homes that have countertops, porcelain and marble and so forth. Gone. Gone. Even melts that stuff, guys. You know that's not a normal fire. You know that, and like your porcelain tub and your porcelain commode and all this stuff, that burns at ridiculously high temperatures, and it's all gone. So same thing. Here's a car here's all the forest that hasn't been burned, and the cars and the houses are just toast. And here's the top of a hillside. I went into depth about this and shared all this information. I think Ole and Demigard and I did a big show on this as well. So this is one where the mountaintop got hit, and it's like it's all the way up on a mountain. And what's crazy is the area where they had cleaned the mountain and all that kind of stuff. It did okay. It's like, okay, you guys did the right thing. But then the area where they're still working, it got toasted. So they're basically rewarding those people with the blue roofs and the certain metal and homes that are built out of a certain material that they recommend now. If you're building your home out of these materials, then you're going to do okay. So Jasper, Canada. I drove through Jasper. Absolutely one of the most stunning places on earth at one time until they just recently smoked it. All right. So again, another place where they want a 15-minute city. So they came in and basically took out, all the fire, didn't do anything to these trees out here, but all these homes are just gone, completely gone. And then toasted vehicles. Still, I mean, this had to be in a very, very high temperature. So you would think the trees, the wood, would have burned. Now, when you see some of these trees that are burned from the center, that's microwave, right? So it cooks from the center out. So you'll see trees that are on fire internally, and it'll burst through and from a portion of the tree, and you see the tree is burning from the inside, and the outside is perfect. So again, another indicator of direct energy weapon, microwave energy. So here, same thing. Toasted vehicles. Very, very sad. Like I said, absolutely one of the most beautiful, and they've been burning large areas of Canada. And these are areas where they have people that are like us, like Trumpsters, like MAGA. We would call that Make Canada Great Again. So we have to come up with a name for you guys. MCGA. MAGA. So some of you Canadians are going to have to get creative with that. So I'm gonna have one of the generals on. Hopefully, we put a little shout out to him, and General Vallely, and he's absolutely a brilliant guy. So he wrote a very good article. I think I shared it. Should Alberta become the 51st state? And if Alberta becomes the 51st state, and everything points to that happening, it would be a very, very interesting transition. Hopefully have him come on and talk about that. But then it will be a domino effect for Saskatchewan and some of the other provinces and so forth, because they get worked by Ottawa. They take all their money and they don't put anything back into them. Ottawa, it's left us. It's like, imagine Gavin Newsom running the country from Canada or from California. That would suck, right? And that's what they have in Canada. They have pretty much a Gavin Newsom on steroids, type of person that's running their country from Ottawa. So Vancouver, never though. Vancouver, maybe portions of it. because there are not the city, probably not ever. I agree. The city is very, very, very much like the left coast of the United States, the big cities and left coast like um, San Francisco, Oregon, and what's Seattle. So unfortunately, Vancouver, although it's absolutely stunningly beautiful, in the outside, it's nuts. It's like the red states, right? California's a red state, except for those blue cities, right? So that is one of the things that we're seeing with a lot of these states, guys, and a lot of these countries and so forth. So LA fires, of course. Now there's a lot of interesting anomalies that are happening that have been, and we haven't heard anything about LA fires. And I just looked it up for the show, and I was like, LA rebuild, and they're saying 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years? Are you kidding me? That's like Lahaina on steroids. All right. Lahaina still not being rebuilt, and it's like going on 2 years. We'll pull. I'm gonna pull that up here in a second. But the incredible level of devastation that they do in these cities is stunning, absolutely stunning. And here we see, the LA fires. It's just nothing but fire everywhere. But we had large scale devastation, just like we had in all the other direct energy weapon fires. So here's a neighborhood that's completely devastated, still on fire. They're looking at it at night, but the whole neighborhoods are gone. Look at this, that red car. What is that made out of? Is that electric? So, seen have been targeted. Now there was like an area that was along the coastline. Let me see. Do I have that? Line of Maui. Oh yeah, here it is. So let me jump off of this. I mean, look at this picture right here. Devastation is just, and the same thing, guys. Look at that, just row upon row, and the trees are still there. Of course, SWIT has been in a lot of these places. Just the houses, like I said, you got to think of now in LA. Those people there have like everything's porcelain or marble or and it's all gone. There's nothing left. There's nothing left in all these homes, except for that home right there. Why did that home survive? Right? What was going on with that home? Does that belong to somebody? Probably. Or maybe they didn't have maybe they're the one house that didn't have smart meter. Right. So it's becoming very obvious. Now but still people don't get it. How many people still don't get this? How many times does this have to happen? Like a million times for some people. It won't matter. Right. So, I mean, the same thing here. Look at the devastation right along the coastline. Where's all the burn material? Where's all the burn material that, like, forest fire? So that's how they market this, as a forest fire, a raging wildfire. Wildfire. It's wild, but it ain't like what we normally think of. Now, again, look at all the trees. Look at all the trees in between these houses. And of course, it got so hot, it went all the way over the road and burned these houses down to nothing. So these houses were burned to nothing, except for that blue roof. Holy moly, what about that? And this house up here, well, that chimney did survive. Devastation, that home, no smart meter. That home, that belongs to Jeffrey Epstein. No. So it's insane. So look at this big chunk of vegetation untouched, and right above it, down to nothingness, is this home. And this home. These homes, okay. These homes down here, bye-bye. These homes, bye-bye, right along the coast. Now, this right here is probably for recreation, so they're not going to touch that. But why do all these houses go? And then the place where they have bathrooms and recreation, that's like not touched. Come on. Wake up. Wake up. Because if you stay asleep, we get burned still. We're going to continue to get burned. All right. Not me, not you, but those people that don't listen. All right. So Paradise, this goes back a ways. Paradise Fire is a great one to look at because it has melted stuff everywhere. As you see in this picture right here, I've talked about Paradise so much. Look at all the vegetation all around it, and then row after row of houses, nothing, gone, completely gone. Cars melted, toasted. All right. Why is that car being toasted out in the middle of the road? And row upon row of houses, gone. Right? And like just perfectly gone. And then now look at the telephone pole and look at the trees over here. It's still there. Yet the cars all, so telephone pole, what's that made of? A tree, right? And all these trees over here. And then you have like this long row of cars that are toasted. Just like in the 9/11 fire, all those cars that got toasted there. And here. And here. Ooh, check out the school. I guess weren't union teachers. So devastation and trees all around. And sometimes you'll see like this, row upon row of cars, people that are trying to escape. And you will see remains of people in these cars. So I don't know about you, but if like on the other side of the street, it's not burning and my car's burning, I'm going to hop on out and go over there. Right? But those people weren't able to because they got microwaved in their cars, guys. And we've seen a lot of people, a lot of remains in these cars. People trying to escape the fires, people trying to escape the microwaves in the 9/11 towers, and they're leaping to their deaths. Why would you leap to your death when you're outside on the window and there's no smoke, there's no fire, and these people are like pulling off their clothes and then they just leap to their death? They were getting microwaved. And it was, imagine being microwaved. You're being cooked on the inside out, guys. It must be absolutely horrific. All right. So, Paradise is a great one. Now, these microwaves, you would think that pipes, metal pipes, underground would be okay. But the pipes melted underground. So these microwaves were coming in so strong they were going down and they were melting the piping. Same thing happened in Lahaina. That's why they didn't have water to fight the fires in a lot of areas. So the pipes were getting taken out. Like, come on. That's the way Ole Demigard is. Come on. Bullshit. Love that guy. Hopefully we'll get a show. Ole's been on the run. Pray for Ole. So anyway, Lahaina Inferno. So we're going to look at a video. Someone just did a drone video. Same thing. These cars with people melted inside. I've shown some of those pictures. And there's that strange anomaly house where everything else is burned, but that house. It's got the particular type of roof that doesn't get microwaved, I guess. But yeah, we've all seen the Lahaina. We've seen the toasted cars. We've seen all this stuff for years. We've been pointing this stuff out for years. Years and years and years. And it still goes on. It's like, can we please wake up now? Can we please wake up? All right, so here's a drone of the Lahaina. We're gonna look at this a little bit.
Is more of a short-term rental or a vacation home complex, and the priority has always been to get Lahaina residents back into their homes. That being said, we're going to see a lot more construction activity.
So this guy's being supportive. All right. Supportive of the long-term waiting that's been going on for a lot of people. So look at the devastation. I should have had a video where this was lush paradise that was completely devastated, but here we go.
As we start to enter into the more residential neighborhoods, we're now flying over the far southern tip of Front Street, and
there's that home. There's that home. Green grass. What's going on with those peeps? Right. And I think that's a 100-year-old home or something like that. But that roof is new and it's the right kind of roof. So yeah, lots of devastation. There's the tree that everybody talks about. Let me back it up just a little bit. It goes over now remember this little area right here where they had the ships. So even in the water, the ships melted. Ships melted in this little harbor that they have here in the water. Now I've had Michelle Melendez several times on my show. She talks about the Great Maui land grab, and she's had several editions to her book. She keeps updating information. She has pictures in her book where people were melted on one side. You can see rib cages and everything. And then on the other side is perfect. One side is melted. And it happened while they were running. There's frogs that were leaping. They got them in leap. As they were leaping, the inside is completely gone, microwave completely gone. There were people that were in the water trying to get away that were melted in the water. All right, microwaved in the water. They recovered a lot of bodies in the water. Now, Michelle talks about how there are still thousands of children that are missing, and they're hiding it. The FBI and the city and all that stuff, they're hiding it. So I don't know what it takes to like help people wake up, but you know, this is devastation beyond anything we've seen. It's very obvious. So this is like a year and 8 months, I think, after Lahaina. Businesses, the community as a whole is shattered. There's so many people that are still missing, and they've covered it up. And they kept it so that people can't come back and build for a very long time. Why do they want this area? There's lots of different things. Very spiritual area. So we know that they come after those of us that are spiritual, and they come after the areas that are spiritual, and so forth. All right. So this is Hawaii real estate. This guy has really done a lot of good work. I'm going to play a little bit of his video. And he was doing the drone stuff very early on. They came in and stopped him from doing the drone stuff. They stopped him from coming into Lahaina as a whole. They had, National Guard that like took over. They put up fencing everywhere. So he's going to like go around, and let's listen to what he has to say in the beginning.
So if you want to help bring awareness, I think one of the ways you could do that if you want is in the comment section. Just answer the question. Is this reasonable progress in a reasonable period of time? Yes or no? That's going to be the theme of this video.
So I you can see it right here. I said no. Stalling the rebuild to crush and drive the average homeowner, communities, and businesses out so the area can be repurposed. So I don't want to go too deep into that. Right? I don't want to get his channel shut down or myself or whatever. But again, he just like cruises around and he shows us that pretty much, unless it's in the areas in the hills, not along the coast, but the areas along the hills, obviously they want the coast. The areas of the hills are starting to rebuild. But along the coast and in the former city,
mountain, or as we say here in Hawaii, the Mauka side of the highway. Of course, Lahaina town itself is on the ocean side.
So there's that red roof house.
There's the highway.
Who lives there?
Historic Lahaina town. And that's where I am right now. So we're just going to cruise around. If you're familiar with Lahaina, I'm going to try to give you some landmarks. It's a lot more difficult now because the buildings are sort of like landmarks. You remember there was a bar over here. This is this was the testing center, and they did some blood testing.
So as you guys can see, they basically took everything down. They have wiped this city off the map. Wiped it. Because it was very spiritual. It was very beautiful, and they've wiped it. And then they put up these homes that have the right building material, right? Prefab stuff. No natural, no nothing, just some kind of different metallic type stuff, right? So not natural. All right, let's go into why we are getting some of these. Why are we are going to get some of these earthquakes, and why we're getting some of these storms that we're having right now. So this is Stefan Burns. I've been following his stuff. I've been sharing his information. He does an excellent job. He's probably one of the few people that I've seen that have gone into the actual sun and its connection to the earth and the energies and so forth that are transmuted. When we have a grand solar minimum that we're going into, there's no sunspots. Usually that's with a warming period. So when you have a cooling period, you have coronal mass ejections and electrical energy that comes and cooks things, right? That stirs things up, that starts volcanic activity. And we're going to see some more of that from this one expert in Italy that's going to show us in the Naples area, where we're probably going to get one of those volcanoes over there, super volcano is going to go off.
Launched late on May 12th, and so now it's ready May 16th. May 17th will be 5 days, and so that's about the transit time you can expect for a structure like this to move from the sun all the way to one astronomical unit where the Earth is. And so that could also perhaps add on to any of these interesting solar wind dynamics that are unfolding right now because of that coronal hole high-speed stream. And therefore, we could have a stronger impact than otherwise would have been if it had just been a coronal hole high-speed stream. So this is a dynamic in play. It's kind of a low certainty forecast. We don't know if it's going to hit the Earth or not, but there is some evidence that suggests that it will. So it's something to pay attention to. And in addition to this plasma filament that launched on the 12th, in the days that followed, we had some significant solar flare activity. And by significant, I mean the strongest solar flare yet in 2025, a 2.7 X-class flare. This blasted off from sunspot group 4087. Not that large of a sunspot, but clearly a big flare player, because not only has it given us this 2.7 X-class flare, it has also given us multiple M-class flares. So this is a sunspot that is still yet to reach Earth center and direct, which is right about here. And there's also a zone around that where if you have a significant solar flare and a coronal mass ejection get pushed out, very likely to hit the Earth if it's along that ecliptic plane, not to the north, not to the south. And so this blasts off how active it is outside of these flares as well. It's this kind of boiling and crackling with activity. And typically, if you see that, that's a sign that this sunspot group is active. And so we've had a sequence of solar flares, the strongest being that 2.7 X-class flare. There was a 5.3 M-class flare before that. There's different designations for solar flares. Every time you go up a designation, going 10 times higher in the X-ray flux energy. Center direct, and then it has another 7 days to get to the western limb of the sun solar coordinate system. In fact, we had a 1.2 X-class flare from the western limb right before this sun's activity was low to moderate there for quite a long time until about mid-March.
So when you see increased sunspot activity, usually that correlates with reduced sunspots. So when you do get a sunspot, it is heavy duty. It throws off a nice flare. And hopefully that flare goes off in space away from the Earth. But if the sun is moving and that sunspot comes in, like he's talking about, comes into proximity, where that if it does go off along the ecliptic, it will hit Earth and will cause some serious damage. So this is what we're seeing right now, and he goes into the coronal holes that are happening right now. It seemed to be getting larger, and the coronal holes basically every time they face the Earth, they go around a cycle. So 30-day cycle. So the sun goes around, goes round and round, and some people think everything's flat. I don't know, but it seems to go around after 30 days, and when it comes back around, it throws off energetics that affect us, like we're having with these massive tornadoes. So the tornadoes, I think we're going to see upwards of 100 people that were killed from these latest tornadoes. Last I looked, there was like 21 that have unfortunately passed on, probably upwards of 100. So when I look at these things, I'm pretty much spot on with the death counts. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that I'm able to look at. When we had those earthquakes that happened in Turkey, back-to-back earthquakes, and I said there was probably going to be upwards of 10,000, and people are like, what are you talking about? It's like hundreds of people killed. It ended up being close to 10,000. So these numbers are going to start to increase from these storms, from earthquakes, from volcanic activity, from explosions in the volcanic activity that are located near population centers. Which is crazy to me that some of these, but in Japan, the whole island is like volcanic, right? Their whole island, heavy earthquake activity. They have, some serious problems that are probably going to come up with their volcanoes. And of course, I believe we could see something within the next few years. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but in the next few years, I think our chain of volcanoes along the west coast are going to start to light off.
And then we started to really pick up with a lot of middle to high magnitude 6+ earthquakes, also magnitude 7+ earthquakes, most notably the magnitude 7.7 in Myanmar, Burma, which is denoted by that burgundy line there. That was March 28th. So that gives you your kind of reference frame. And the last earthquake in this data set there is the magnitude 7.4. We've had some more earthquakes since then, but that is the most recent, strongest earthquake that we've had. This is our 211 angstrom view of the sun. We'll see these coronal holes sweep by very nicely, and this is time coordinated. So watch this little bar there. And you'll notice that as this seventh rotation of the coronal hole goes into the center and then geoeffective position.
Look at the size of that coronal hole. Now, Stefan Burns had a dream many months ago where he saw a phoenix rising. So there was one that was like maybe a month or two ago where you see it almost looks like the head of a bird and the wingspan. But the one a month or two ago looked very much like a phoenix rising. So, and he said that was going to cause some problems. It did cause some problems, but not on the level that he thought they were. So again, when you bring this information out, it can have a positive effect on humanity. Humanity can go, that's not what I want. We're not going to do that. And in some cases, that does happen. In other cases, because the negative side is so strong, and then there's not enough people that are positive, it's like this. I can teach you how to move weather. It's very simple. All you do is put your consciousness on it and you direct it. The weather is the easiest thing for me to teach you how to use your remote influencing. But some of you will go, I'm going to try it. And then you'll go, I want to push this storm. And then I don't believe that bullshit. And that I don't believe that Michael Jaco. I think he's full of shit. And I am I being like a demon if I do that? Am I a witch or am I a wizard? I don't know about that. What does my religion say? What do people know? What will they? What? So see all the time you're spending negative? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Or you're gonna like bring a bad storm on your ass. So you have to spend more time positive. Anything that's positive that's come into your life, the more time you spend focused on positive, the more likely you can affect everything. If I could affect everything, my son would still be here. So you're not going to be able to affect everything, guys. There's free will out there, and there's some things are meant to happen the way they're supposed to happen. Now, I think my son stayed here several years longer than he really planned, and we had some great times. But that's because we all focused on doing good times. And, there's this evil side that comes in. And it's interesting that it coincided where I started to do this course on understanding the demonic realm. Yeah. So there's consequences for a lot of the stuff that we do to help people, guys. There's consequences. So tomorrow I do the third installment of that course. I'm doing it on a Sunday, and I'm doing it in the day. Right. So it is one of those things that's it's very difficult. So still you can save on that course. It's like $99, and then I'm gonna raise it $129. So, or you can just wait. You can wait when I'm done. I'll be done probably within the next few weeks. Hopefully nothing else happens. Hopefully nothing like major earthquakes happen, whatever. So I got devastated in Hurricane Helene. Absolutely devastated, and so I don't hope to be here. Now I think that Florida is going to a drought. I think a lot of U.S. is going into a drought, and there's going to be fires like crazy. So all of those fires I showed you, we're probably going to see a lot more fires, guys. Just like one of those ladies predicted, we're moving into those positions within the universe and the planets and so forth that causes, heat and fire. And we're moving into that. So I predicted many months ago that we're going to, especially the center of the United States is going to be in a drought. And it is. It's in a drought. And that drought is going to deepen. And I think the drought here in Florida will probably become worse. And there'll be fires. Right. So it is what it is. It's very unfortunate. So let me move on to some other things like the recent tornadic activity that happened.
House, this roof torn off, the structural integrity put into jeopardy. You can see it sagging. But if you really want a concentrated view of all of the damage here, this is a really just staggering scene here. Take a look at this. The utility pole on top of this car here, the front foyer of this home.
Now, a lot of people think this is just wind that's spinning. There's electrical activity that happens with all these storms. It can cause things to change in their molecular structure because it's almost like it's a portal that's moving across. Now, this portal that was moved across 500 miles. Wow. And it caused lots of devastation. So this was earlier today where they were saying at least 9, and then I've seen 17, and I think it's up to 21 now. Let's see what it is right now. Tornadoes. Multiple dead. So kill at least 21. So I really believe that number is going to go up, unfortunately, because it came, at a time where a lot of people were stuck. So when these things happen in the middle of the night, of course, some of these places have tornado warning sirens and so forth, and people just scurry on down to the basement if they have one. If you're in a mobile home, not so good, right? But lot of probable death from this, and that's from that coronal mass ejection that Stefan Burns was talking about. So that's major storm from the Weather Center did it. So the Weather Center, they were talking about it, and they caused consciousness to shift in that direction. Possible. So if I tell you how to stop it, that's possible too. So just focus on that. All right. So here's Flex. She does a really good work. I've shown some of her stuff before. She talks about the PA and how a lot of this stuff ties together. So I like the way she's like me. She basically does a broad stroke as far as tying a lot of different things in.
This is coming out of Myersdale Borough in Somerset County. Houses are completely underwater. But where is this? What's the significance? Ready? This is in Western Pennsylvania. Around this area, we have the groundhog people. These men that dress up and they do these rituals with the groundhog. They dress up in top hats and suits, and they have these superstitious weather lore rituals. They think that using the groundhog, they can predict the weather, sway the weather. It comes from.
So there you go. There's the other side using the energies that we all have for negative. So I know some of you are already just flipping. Your heads are spinning. Like sores are breaking out all over you as you're like, Mike, this is evil. I'm not going to do evil. Well, you can just be consequence for this evil then. So get on board and let's work together and stop this evil, or evil's going to take you guys.
Weather lore. It's folklore related to the prediction of the weather and its greater meaning. So there's floods riddling the area where little Mr. Groundhog and the groundhog friends will come from. Also, it's the same area of Pennsylvania where President Trump was nearly assassinated, right over here. And just oddly, right beneath President Trump's feet at that time when he was nearly assassinated was the massive underground city that people have talked about. Okay. Right underneath of President Trump's feet when he was nearly assassinated, there were thousands.
Like how she just threw that in there? What?
Elites in an underground bunker city. Anyway, that's such a rant. It's such a rant. It's not what this video is about. The Hulu did it, not me.
Who did it? Hulu did it. All right. So good job, Flex. So she's fun to watch. Now let's get back to science. Weird science, real science, some kind of science, right? So here we have a very interesting woman that is very scientific, and she's pointing out kind of the stuff that we're pointing out. Stanford study. So it's always nice when you get the scientists come in and say, this is real. All right. So, because you guys don't want to believe us, but the scientists come in and they're like, that guy that predicts stuff, he's speaking good. He's real. He's good. Science backs it up. All right. So I always like that. So here we have possible, as you see here, supervolcano about to go This is over here by Naples, of course.
This cap rock becomes so strong and so tight that pressure could build without escape until it explodes. So wow, guys, before we were so worried about the cap rock layer weakening. So are they saying that this thing is getting stronger and that this is even more dangerous than the cap rock layer weakening and letting the magma through? Campi Flegrei is a supervolcano, a volcano so vast and powerful that its last major eruption has changed the climate of the entire Mediterranean. And now imagine that.
So its last eruption changed the entire climate of the Mediterranean. Now, I like what one of her commenters said. Stay rational, 53. Very nice. The worst job on earth is someone that's psychic. Right? Any level of responsibility to take a decision in Naples region to warn and be responsible to a massive economic and human disaster, and not to warn and be responsible to a massive human and economic disaster. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
This volcano is showing signs of pressure, extreme pressure buildup, as we've just seen with the last massive earthquake storm that was happening May 12th, 13th, and 15th, and then the big one in March. So Italy's gigantic supervolcano has probably entered one of its most dangerous phases.
So she's been pointing this out for months. And she, of course, along with others within the scientific community, have finally convinced the Italian authorities, and they are saying that they have an emergency. They've declared an emergency. Imagine what that is doing to their economy now with this emergency. People are like, is this June, July timeframe what Joni Petre said not to travel? So a lot of people are saying that, well, if they're in an emergency, then we're not going to travel. And that's going to hurt their economy, right? Because they have a lot of tourism, which they benefit from. But I think it would be much worse if those people showed up and they get blown up in a super volcano.
It's not fear-mongering. This is science. The newest study that has been published about this is shaking up everything that we thought we knew. One thing is for sure, whatever it is, Campi Flegrei is creeping towards something. Best case scenario, phreatic eruption, but worst case scenario, magmatic eruption as well. And I have made...
All right, so you have electric and magnetic energies that are coming into the earth. That's what's starting these volcanoes to awaken, as has happened. If we go back in time and we look at global solar minimums, this is the same pattern that happens. Yet what are they telling us? We're going into global warming. So they always lie. And why would they lie? Because if more of us get destroyed and die, it's easier for them to control things. It's easier for them to control things because we're waking up and they don't like that. They don't like it. They didn't get away with their vaccination scam. They didn't get away with their virus scam. They're not getting away with the new ones. And they're not getting away with pushing us into a nuclear war. So with these energies that are coming in, they know these energies are coming in. Let's say you and I were going to do a sprint race. And you didn't know that. I know we're going to do a sprint race. I would never do this. This is bullshit. But I'm like, all right, let's prepare for our bodies to be in good shape. Let's do lots of squats, heavy squats. Let's go. And I'm like, go, go, go. And you notice that I'm not really doing the squats. You're doing the heavy squats. And they're like, well, what are you doing? It's like, oh, well, I worked out yesterday. Very, very heavy. And my legs are sore. And they're like, oh, but I can tell you, You're looking really good. You go deep with those squats. So then it's like, it's time for the race. And they're like, oh, we're going to do a sprint race. And whoever wins gets $1 million. And you're like, what? Why didn't you tell me? It's like, I was helping you get in shape. You wanted to get in shape. That's the way these effers are. Right? So they're like, we want to keep you guys safe. So we're like, be ready for, the warming, global warming. It's going to be devastating. We have to shut everything down. We have to shut down all these power plants that put out these gases, and they're causing the earth to warm up. And we have to go to solar and wind. And of course, the wind gets so strong and knocks the hell out of those wind machines, knocks them down. And then the solar, when all these volcanoes go off, there ain't no sun. So everybody dies. And they're like, we're like, as we're dying, we're like, why didn't you tell us? Well, we did. We told you how to be in the earth and do better. But you didn't tell us. You knew there was going to be global cooling. Yeah, but we're here to win. And we know that you guys are stupid and you listen to us. So bye-bye. So I say, let's wake everybody up and let's push back on these effers.
Video about this. My last video, it's the officials that are saying this, the civil defense, the president of the INGB. But I want to quote one of my viewers that has commented underneath this last video. So, quote, I'm not a volcanologist, but I am a geologist. And whilst volcano eruptions are in my back, I know that seeing increased gas
blue tints, smart
emissions, temperature, and earthquakes are a very worrying sign, especially when it's coming from a supervolcano that could cause mayhem around the world. Seeing how close the magma is to the surface also shocked me. I sincerely hope it does not let go because it will devastate large parts of southern Europe. I'm very worried about that volcano and for the people. I think you can't sum it up better, so thank you for that comment.
All right, so we're getting, the scientists, the geologists. When you get them together with the people that understand how the energy of the sun coming in, because there's a global cooling and solar minimum, sunspot activity, so forth, it causes, coronal mass ejections. And when the sunspots do come around, there's not so many of them. So when they do happen, they flare off violently. And it causes a lot of energy, kind of like that pot you have on the stove with electricity, gets it all hot, and then it melts the butter, and you put the meat in there, cooks it up, and put the noodles in there, gets it warm and yummy, and you don't put it in the microwave because you can die from that. So I'm just all over the place, right? So you can survive if you start to look at the real technology. Not the technology that they have showed us and not the lies that they have told us. If you start to look at, people like me, Stefan Burns, and this lovely lady, God, what was her name? So should have brought that up. But, there are people that are doing the right things. And if you listen to those people that are trying to give you the right information, you will do well. You'll do very well, in fact. Now, let's move on to another subject. We have people that are escaping from America. Why would they be escaping? Why would Ellen DeGeneres sell everything, all her homes? She had one home, I think, in California. It was like $97 million. And she bought a little farm, $50 million, in the UK. Why would she do that? What's going on?
I haven't heard a whole lot, but I think we might. I really do. And I wonder if that's why she was trying to divest herself of all things U.S. Hey, maybe she can flee to some crazy country, really crazy country, not just the UK, which sometimes seems a little bit crazy itself. But remember this tweet, I've showed you this before. Happy birthday, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, or as I call him, Puddle McSnuggle Stuff. You don't need to know why.
All right, so it looks like Ellen likes to P. Diddy Daddy, and Puff Daddy McSnuggle stuff. Wow, boy, she had lots of nice terms for him. But we know that P. Diddy is in trial. He's going to be in trial for a couple months, guys. So we've seen one of those people came out and has talked. Now, we haven't seen the child stuff yet. That's right. We haven't seen that yet. That's going to blow a lot of brains up out there. But you have to have this information. You have to have it all online. And if you don't have it all online, then these guys, as we see and we've seen for many years, are able to wiggle out of it. So you have to have it all lined up. You have to have really good information. Of course, they raided his homes. They got videos and all kind of crazy stuff. So what do you think is going to be the thing that is going to turn everybody against him? And all of those people like Ellen DeGeneres, what do you think is going to turn a lot of people against them? And why would she leave? I mean, Trump was first term, she didn't leave. Why is she leaving now? Why is she leaving now? That's very interesting, isn't it? And Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie. Why you leave? Why you leave, Rosie? Do you have P. Diddy parties too? Is that what you did? Is that why you are leaving? Because you could have left last time too, but you've chosen this time, where there's seems to be a lot of people. She doesn't look too happy there. She looks a little angry. O'Donnell reveals why she moved to Ireland. It's been pretty wonderful. And I don't know. She moved there with her child Clay in mid-January, saying, although I was never someone who thought I would move to another country, that's what I decided would be the best for myself and my 12-year-old child. I miss my other kids. I miss my friends. I miss many things about life there at home. And I'm trying to find a home here in this beautiful country. The League of Their Own star continued. It's been heartbreaking to see what's happening politically. Yes, we're doing great things here. We're making America great. And you run. You run away. Personalities including Eva Longoria, Ellen DeGeneres, like I talked about, and Richard Gere. Now we know Richard is he's fond for those young children. We've seen him in many videos where he goes into one of the favorite things, I guess, for people that like little boys, because I've basically helped arrest people that done that in a casino. They go after little boys in restrooms. All right, so I wonder if what will happen to Rosie if she'll move to another country when Conor McGregor becomes the president of Ireland. Of course, no one but the people of Ireland want McGregor to be there. So it's not a hope in hell. Irish politicians reject Conor McGregor's bid for president. Not one of 134 Irish politicians who replied to a Sky News report would support. Not one of them. What is there not to love about Conor McGregor? He's a fighter, and he's in the toughest fight of his life to become president of Ireland, I tell you. Of course, lots of Irish folk are protesting for illegal immigration right now. I think he's on that bandwagon. He wants to make Ireland great again. So we have Make Ireland Great Again. MEGA, all right? MEGA. And we have Canada, MICA. So we're going to have to come up probably some other names, but if they want to keep those names, that's fine. Make Canada great again. Make Ireland great again. Who else wants to be great again? Who else? We're not make America great anymore. We're making America great, aren't we, guys? Yes, there's no make. We're making. Right. Yeah, it's fun. Now, breaking. and this is not breaking today, but it's breaking on Friday. Comey to be escorted by Secret Service to D.C. field office for interview over Trump assassination post. I just saw these seashells on the shore, and I took a picture of it, and I put it on my ex. I didn't know it was bad. Oh yeah. You didn't know 8647 was bad. Yeah. You just happened to see it on the seashore, and you're like, I'll take a picture of that. So he says, cool shell formation on my beach walk. Random. Yeah. No. We know what you did here. Yeah. Trump said he's a bad cop. Put him in jail. He's a bad cop. And I don't know. I think maybe he's already seen justice, but we got to have something out there like makes it look like, okay, this is why we're going to take him into custody, because he's posting evil things. Let's look at what the Associate Deputy Attorney General said. Now, he didn't have very kind words, and he's not playing games like Comey and some of these other people are basically coming in and saying, "Oh, I think he didn't know what he was talking about. I think you guys are all lying. You guys are all part of the same club."
So it seems like what you could potentially do, because there's no doubt that in 30 years at the FBI and in federal law enforcement that James Comey has come out this term, 8 to 86, someone has been around for a very long time. And it's very popular. And you see it at protests, you see it all across social media, actually, on the left, as they grow ever violent and get back to their roots. So it seems like what could happen is you could potentially have a situation where James Comey is going to be lying to federal officials. He's going to be lying to the FBI when he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know what this meant." There's clearly a record of James Comey knowing what this means, and that you could really there's a lot of very bad traps for James Comey in this instance.
Yeah. Look, a number of them. Look, first thing that happens, he says, "Oh, I didn't know that meant that." Well, there'll probably be some people that he worked with that will testify. He knew, or there might even be a paper trail that says he used that phrase and everybody knew. But there'll also be a point where a jury will be asked to, fact find, like, shouldn't the guy know? Like, here's a record of what you're doing. It's not like he, moved to the country last, week from, Papua New Guinea and had never been exposed to the media or the law. This is a seasoned professional who knows. And look, he took it down so fast. He knows he made a mistake. But excuse me, I don't think this statute is one that you sort of take back. It's pretty clear. You post it, you do it. That may mitigate his jail sentence or something like that. But I think he's got a problem. And as you point out, perjury traps are next, because he's got to either lie or tell the truth. And when he chooses that, he's either going to jail on one or he's going to jail on the other. So I don't know. Is he a drinker? Was someone impaired? Because this was a colossal misjudgment by somebody who should have known better.
Should have known better, but I guess he didn't. Or at least he's saying he didn't. All right. Now, of course, we have ex-CIA Chief John Brennan. He backs Comey. So, like he said, he's probably going to have other people come out and back him. Of course, they're all part of the club that none of us want to be in. So, John Brennan backs Comey. He says, "I've never heard 86 to be used for any type of intent to kill or assassinate someone." I think that boy's been taken care of too. We haven't heard from him in a long time, and now he comes out. It's like, let's bring all these people out that need to go bye-bye and be judicialized. Yes, dead man walking. All right, I don't know. Is he going bye-bye? I'm looking at this person that's posing as him. Let's listen. We got to listen. We got to listen to the untruthers.
I've never heard 86 be used for any type of intent to kill or assassinate someone. 86 is, you discard something, you just, ignore it, or it's not something that Jim Comey would have been advocating in terms of any type of violence. And again, he took down the post. I think was the right thing to do. But again, it's so unfortunate that individuals, including public officials, have just tried to fan the fires here and just increase it.
Just seems so effeminate the way he's talking. I don't know. So he is communist. He is admitted communist. So and at one time in charge of the CIA. While I was there at CIA too, I was like not a fan. All right, so Department of Justice to bring charges against Rep. LaMonica, not Monica, LaMonica McIver. God, is she like French? She must be French Scottish. McIver, LaMonica McIver. I think that's cool. All right. The French and the Scottish, they fought together for a long time against the English. So, over Newark ice facility incident. So, Department of Justice has plans to bring charges against one of the 3 Democrat lawmakers who were seen breaching a New Jersey ice facility earlier in May. Representative LaMonica McIver was seen on body cam footage shoving. That's an assault. That's assault. With the intent to prevent an officer from doing his job. So that's a felony. You go bye-bye. Right? You shouldn't be in Congress anymore. But I guess Johnson said that, we don't have, enough people on the right side of Congress to make that a censure. So I guess they're going to make it a censure. So Mike Johnson said measures such as censure, being stripped of committee assignments, and expulsion were being looked at. However, he noted that the latter measure would be hard to achieve in the current party makeup of the House. So I guess expulsion probably takes a stronger vote. Do you think the Democrats, because they're all corrupt, are going to side with Republicans on this? Mm-mm. They're all corrupt. They're all in bed together. They all work together. Republicans could learn from this, but of course, not all Republicans are Republican. They're pretty much Democrats too. Carney, that's right. Carney, carnival guy. What a clown. So it's it is quite amazing. You know what's even more amazing are some of the pictures I'm about to show you. Right? It's so amazing. It's something that seems like happens with a lot of people in show business and the Democrat Party. All right, so here we have, as if the Obama family didn't have enough weirdness, Malia, who is not their child, because they're 2 men. How could 2 men have a child? That can't happen. Malia has announced that she was basically gifted for a certain period of time to the Obamas so they could scam the American people. It's like, oh, what a wonderful family. Look at that. Yeah. It's 2 gay guys with donated children. How about that? Malia has announced that she will transition to Malik, a non-binary person. And she plans to marry longtime friend Joey Barron, who is now a woman named Jen. Wow. Both Barack and Big Mike must be so proud. Wow. Of course they would be, because it's kind of the same thing that they were. It's got to be proud. Oh my God. It's some serious weirdness. Why? All right. So we have, let me see what else we got here. I think I got something going the other way. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. 3 U.S. manufacturers are overwhelmed with new business after Trump 145 tariff for 145% tariff on Chinese goods. American-made products becoming competitive again. Jergens Incorporated, Midwest tool maker, not the lotion guy, going like gangbusters, running 24/7 to keep up with demand, and they're not alone. Grand River Rubber and Plastic, Ohio, reports former customers who left for China are rushing back. 2 buyers returned within days of each other. And Guangzhou, 1,800 factories closed. China's economy deteriorating. So that's what happens when jobs come back and businesses come back to America. Safe Source Direct medical products just expanded from 2 to 8 production lines, each making 20,000 plus rubber gloves per hour. That's a lot of new jobs. We like it. We like it. All right. So, the money and the jobs and the good stuff is coming back to America. That some jobs, like a lot of people say, the farming jobs and so forth, they literally cannot get the local people to work on some of these farms, guys. So they do legally have people from Mexico and other places. They can apply. They have to show, first of all, because there's lots of paperwork that they make them jump through, hoops they make them jump through, the farmers, to do the right thing and not get illegal farm workers. To get legal farm workers, they have to prove that they put out the intention job calls for their farm and no one responds. So then they apply for the visas for people in Mexico. A lot of these good farmers have legal people that come in. They've done it. I was looking at one farmer. They have had like some people that have come for 20 years. They've raised their family. So they go back over and then they come back and there's homes on the farm where these people live. They have their families there. They can bring anyone up to 21 years old, and people within the family can work and go to school and learn English and at some point become American citizens. So this is a legal way for this to happen. But this one report that I read, they said they don't have anything online and you can't call. You have to mail in everything. And like we know, things get sometimes lost in the mail. So, and they can't call and say, hey, did you get our mail? And they don't get a text or a notice that they got the mail. There's no online stuff. This is on purpose. So they did this one time where they didn't get any response. So they sent another one by certified mail. And then the other one just happened to be found in the post office, and they put that in, and it took literally an act of Congress. They had to get their congressional representative to go in and tell them that it was an accident, and really because they make it extremely difficult for people to legally get workers. H1A, I think, I don't know, H1A, B1A, whatever it is. We have a ridiculous system, guys. And that needs to be cleaned up. So there's a lot of things that need cleaned up, and we can make legal immigration, legal workers that come here for a period of time and they maybe go back and then come back. And then at a certain point, maybe they can get, green card, visa, stay here longer, and on and on and on. So a lot of these farmers, they have farms have these equipment that's high speed. So some of the people that have been coming up from Mexico have been working with these people for, decades now. They learn how to drive these equipment. Some of the fertilizer that's being distributed on these farms, $20,000 a load. So it takes, people that are well trained, and you can't just go into town and get some illegal alien or anyone in the population. So a lot of these farmers are saying that if they do get an American to come on the farm, they usually only last for 2 to 3 months and they're gone. So that's not helping out. All right. So there are people that want to work. All right. For me, I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. I wanted that tough job. There's not a lot of people that can do it. A lot of people opt out, right? But I was one of those rare people. It was tough. There was a lot of red tape in the military to get there and do it. I worked through all that. And I've helped other people work through that over the years. It's crazy. It's crazy to excel in this world. It's crazy. It's hard. But we're doing it. And you guys are doing it. And we're making a difference. And I think that's where we need to go. All right. All right. So that's all I got for today. Now be prepared over the next couple months. and it's going to be pretty hectic. Just be heads up and work around it. It'll happen. It'll happen. Whatever's going to happen. But you being intuitive and paying attention and being observant, you'll be able to shuck and jive and dance around the problem areas and be in the right place at the right time and not in the wrong place at the wrong time. All right. Lots of love, and I will see you guys next time.